So, yeah, yesterday I finished reading Fantastic Four Full Circle, the hardcover. Yeah, this is that Alex Ross Fantastic Four original graphic novel. That's been eagerly awaited by many, many people, including myself. And I got some thoughts on it, and you're going to hear them. So, this one was published by Abrams rather than Marvel. I'm not familiar with Abrams. I don't understand why Marvel would do this. And frankly, I don't see that Abrams brought anything to the table as far as I'm concerned. Anything good. That Marvel wasn't already doing on their own. I don't get it. Maybe if you guys know something that I don't know, you can put it down in the comments and I'll check it out because I don't get it. I don't get why this was published by Abrams. I don't understand. Anyway, this thing is 64 pages. It's a very, very skinny boy, unfortunately. More on that later. The list price on this is $24.99. So I got mine for under $20 from InStockTrades.com. And InStockTrades is now out of stock on this. And so is CheapGraphicNovels.com. As of the time of this shooting, this thing is pretty much out of stock. The only place you can get it for sure, as of the time of this, is Amazon. So you got to deal with those guys again if you want it. Unless you find it somewhere else. But yeah, as far as the build quality on this, it's fine, I guess. I'm not at all happy with the sample I got. A few of the pages were stuck together. Yeah. We've all seen this before in hardcovers. But, it's 64 pages. It's a little bit of nothing as far as the amount of content you got here. And so at $24.99, they could at least got the build right, Let's get some quality control going, guys. Yeah, this is not acceptable that I have to tear the pages apart. Well, to be fair, I didn't tear them. I'm shooting this and I got a headache, so it's not helping my demeanor. But I'm trying. I'm trying to be positive here. But, man, I had to pull several of the pages apart toward the middle. There wasn't too much damage, nothing ripped. But I'll try to show in my B-roll here, but it doesn't show up well with the light. Tried to angle it so you could see it, but it doesn't really show up well. But it's there. It lifted some of the color off toward the middle there. Not real happy with that. So, again, I don't understand what Abrams brought to the table here because it certainly wasn't build quality. That was not, I don't get it. To me, this should have just been a Marvel Gallery edition. Now, as far as what is the physical size of this, some people had said, well, it's magazine size. Well, it's close. I'll run some B-roll here, and you can see it against a magazine, Bizarre Adventures. And then, I don't know what order I'll have this in. I'm shooting it out of a sequence, But anyway, it's going to be, I'll show it with an Image Deluxe hardcover, oversized. And I'll show it against a Marvel Gallery edition. See, it's much smaller than a Marvel Gallery. But anyway, so yeah, not real happy with the physical specimen, the sample that I got here. But, it's fine. I was still able to read it and enjoy it for what it was. So yeah, Alex Ross wrote this and he drew it. And we've seen his art before. Mostly he's very well known. I don't have to go on about Alex Ross. Super huge following, and it's well deserved. He's known for his very hyper-realistic paintings of superheroes and things. That Marvels that he did for Marvel was fantastic. I have a giant version of that I really, really liked. So I like his art. And this is a little bit of a departure because this is not painted. This is penciled and inked and colored the more traditional way, I guess you'd say. And he did all that. He had a little assistance with the coloring, but he did everything else pretty much himself. And it's good. Yeah, the story, this book is not a collected edition. It's an original graphic novel, so it's original to this format. Now, when I review omnibuses and other collected editions, I always try to just criticize the work that's there rather than the edition itself. I try to keep that separate from the review, even though I'll mention the quality of the build. But here I think it's fair to criticize both together because this is the format this thing originally came out in. It was not serialized in another format and then collected. This came out as this. And, it's not been printed in any other way up to this point. So, like I said, this is 64 pages. This thing is skinny. It's so skinny, I feel like it needs a big giant cheeseburger and a milkshake. That kind of skinny, But, yeah, and if I didn't enjoy it as much as I did, then I wouldn't want it to be longer. I'd be glad it's over. So in that sense, this is a thumbs up as far as the story. So it sort of continues and picks up on some plot points from some classic Stan Lee and Jack Kirby issues, namely This Man, This Monster, issue 51, and it touches on a few other things, I believe. And speaking of that, what I wish this would have done, it would have made me much happier, is if this would have came out as a Marvel Gallery edition, right? And they could have reprinted Fantastic Four number 1, Fantastic Four 51, and then went right into this, That would have been great. Instead, we've got this very short story, and it's great. He hits all the right notes as far as the family dynamic. He gets that right. The heart that should be at the center of every Fantastic Four should have that family heart, He gets that. He totally gets that. He's got a handle on writing the Fantastic Four like few people have. But he nailed that. And I appreciate that a lot, and I did enjoy it. I'm a huge Fantastic Four fan going back many, many decades. And so I got to give him props. He got that part right. And that's most of what I'm in for. That's the attraction for me is the Fantastic Four. The art is secondary, and it's great, but... So yeah, I'm not happy with the build on this. And I think the overall package is way too skinny. Now, this came out in a slipcase edition that was at a higher price point, and I was debating about buying that, but when I got to order mine, that was out of stock, so I got this one. Well, now I'm really happy that I didn't get the more expensive edition, because there's just not a lot here. There's not enough meat here, quite frankly. I mean, the original Marvel graphic novel series that kind of started a lot of these larger format books, they were only 64 pages. So I guess that kind of follows this. In fact, I feel like if the Marvel graphic novel series had continued, this would be, maybe issue 112 of Marvel graphic novel, something like that, But as it is, it's supposed to be this standalone project, and it is, and it's great. But yeah, I just feel like, there's a gatefold fold out at the front there on the dust jacket, where he kind of goes over a basic retelling of the origin, just to kind of get you into it. And that's great, very well done, and it's in his more painted style that we're used to. It's beautiful. I feel like if he had spent about 5 or 10 pages going over that before going into this story, it would have helped pad this thing out and make it bigger, and maybe throw in some sketches at the end. You could have brought the page count up to 100 pretty easily. But alas, that's not what we got here. We have a very short story that would have fit into the old Marvel 64-page giant size. It would have literally fit in there. Well, maybe not quite, because those were 64 pages with ads, and there's no ads here. So I'm kind of needlessly bitching there, I guess. But yeah, I just feel like we should have got more, he had a good thing going here, and it is a really nice story. It has a nice ending, and like I said, it touches on some plot points and some characters from way back in Fantastic Four lore, and I really appreciate that, especially as an old fan that's been reading this stuff for a long time. It's nice to see that call back to, and he puts a nice bow on it. I'm not going to get into the story, but of course it involves the Negative Zone, and Annihilus makes a little appearance. He's not the main focus, though, not at all. But yeah, it's a fun ride. It's just very short, so keep that in mind. But so for me, this thing gets an 8. It's 8 out of 10, mainly because I thought there just wasn't enough here, and I wasn't super happy with this format and the specimen that I got, the sample that I got as far as the build. It's I don't understand why Marvel did this. I don't get it. Why make a deal with Abrams when they were doing fine on their own. I don't understand. This should have been a Marvel Gallery edition. That's what I'm going with. But for me, it's 8 out of 10. If you're a big Alex Ross fan, you're going to want to pick it up. If you're a Fantastic Four fan, you're going to need it. You know, you're going to want it. Everybody else could probably pass on this one. So that's what I'm saying. 8 out of 10 for me. If you haven't subscribed already, please do that. Hit the bell, notify yourself, and come on back next week for more stuff. See ya.